If you've been wondering where are all the good men, I actually have some homework for you. Start to find and pay attention to the qualities that you love in the men who are around you. The men you know, the men you don't know, the guy at the grocery store who asks to help carry your stuff out to your car. Because when you say, where are all the good men, I already know that you are in a pattern of looking for negative qualities in men. And you're finding them. So start looking for the good men and you will find them.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
The grocery store? That's what this is all about? Woman, you don't want to carry your groceries to your own car anymore? Men don't help with a woman's groceries anymore because it's a good way to get the cops called on you. Or at least at the very bare minimum, get an eye full of pepper spray. You demanded the gentleman leave you alone and you got just that. And in exchange, you got the freedom to haul your own bags of groceries up the 42 steps to your overpriced apartment. Besides, even if you were looking for those good qualities in men, we all know how you think. The second an extremely handsome man with a nice car catches your attention, you will throw away all of the things you're looking for, which is fine by us. We're too busy playing dodgeball with baseball bats over at Skeeter's house to care whatever it is you do with your life. So enjoy the hypocrisy, woman. We sure as hell are.
Wish I could stay, but I got a thing. Bye.
There's a common reason that people feel very trapped, stuck, and paralyzed in their affair. And that is that the affair represents their heart, the emotional center of themselves, whereas their marriage and their family represents their head, their logical part of themselves. And so as long as they're still being pulled in two polarized directions between the head and between the heart, it becomes very difficult to get off the fence and choose between the two.
Say, what now, what now?
Hold the phone a second. Choose between the two? Who says you get a choice? Woman, I'm just gonna be blunt. If you willingly enter into an affair, then you've already made your choice. You decided that the emotional thrill of wrecking your man's home, violating his trust, and destroying him emotionally was more important than the stability that man provided you. And once you make that choice, there is no going back. There's no fixing what you atomized. You don't just get to go out there and do something that's so disrespectful and then come back whenever you're done. You made the choice to end things the second you chose to get into another man's bed. At that point, every decision about the relationship moving forward is up to the man that was betrayed. He shouldn't give a damn if your head and heart were being pulled in two different directions, because at that very moment, his head, his heart, and his soul is being pulled in thousands of different directions. And at that point, that man has every right to not care less about that woman or how she feels.
Ultimately, when you are stuck between your head and your heart, you want to find a place where you are spending time thinking about the intersection of both of those things. You want to be infusing some heart into logic, and you want to be infusing some logic into the emotion of the affair.
You don't know what words mean, do you?
No, you needed common sense. You had the choice between working through whatever problems with the man that was loyal to you and getting banged by a man because he made you feel alive. Long-term relationships take work, and if you're not willing to do the work it takes to make them last, you never should have gotten into one in the first place. The only reason you feel bad is because you think it makes you look sympathetic. You think the guilt is penance for your betrayal. And if you feel bad enough, then you'll be forgiven. That's like saying in an emotional fit of boredom, you burned down your house. But you feel really bad about it afterwards, so you should be given a second chance and not be charged with arson. And if that man does give you a second chance, then he has no right to be surprised when you burn down the next house.
The affair represents novelty, exploration, newness, uncovered parts of yourself that are not available to you in your marriage and family. And the marriage and family represents stability. It is the foundation that you have built for yourself in your life. And it becomes extremely challenging to let go of either one of those things.
You! I will think of you as I throw up into the toilet.
Sorry, sister, there's no way for you to spin this. An affair represents disrespect, bitterness, and pettiness. That guilt you feel towards the marriage isn't the stability. It's the resources. You're worried that you might lose the routines and benefits your family gives you. And you don't want to lose the affair because it's fun and it gives you the things your husband isn't giving you. And there's no amount of flowery language or metaphors that you can use to justify it. Affairs are the final coffin nail of a relationship. Self-respecting men will not tolerate that kind of behavior from a woman who swore a vow of loyalty to him. If you're willing to break that vow, then in the man's eyes, you hold nothing sacred. And if that man's trust, love, and loyalty are that worthless to you, then you don't deserve that man in the first place. Nobody should care about your feelings once you cross that threshold, because the way I see it, if you're willing to destroy your man just for a little bit of fun, then you don't have any feelings.
Checkmate. Checkmate. Checkmate.
Gang.
Guys, I was on a date and he's really busy next. He's really busy because he's about to go on a trip. I was gonna reschedule. I was like, okay, we can cancel our date next week. Like, if you need time, I get it. Like, get your shit together. And he was like, no, like, I'm broke. He's like, I'm broke as hell. I'm not gonna pass him a free meal.
Right on, brother, I hear you. Man, I hear you.
You know what? I gotta applaud this man for his brutal honesty, but also his superhuman ability to endure hours worth of brain pain just to get a free meal. I mean, don't get me wrong, a man will go through quite a bit of adversity if it means getting a plate of really good barbecue, and if that barbecue is free, then move on over, Satan, because you are not getting in the way between a man and his plate of perfectly smoked brisket. No offense to any of my gentlemanly men of the vegetarian persuasion, I just don't know anything about vegetarian cuisine, so I'm not in a position to make a metaphor on this one. So tell me in the comments section, what is the vegetarian equivalent of some amazing food worth going through a spike pit of fireballs and overamped Barbra Streisand music? And sub-question, is the food worth it if this broad is paying for it? I'm genuinely curious on this one.
I don't have a problem paying for, I pay for dates, I pay for food. I don't care. It makes sense. I make more money. And I also don't care if he's broke. I don't care about the financial status of whoever I'm dating. I'm literally looking for a man to spoil, so
Liar, liar, liar.
that side of things doesn't matter. But that, I said what? I'll literally order you food. I will send groceries to your house. Don't hang out with me just for food. So that's my dating life right now.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
Woman, even if what you said was even remotely true, you should be flattered that men are expanding their horizons. Now, we all know you're not looking for a man to spoil. Your OnlyFreaks account says otherwise. But come on. If there's a man out there who's willing to tolerate what little conversation you can provide over perfectly cooked Detroit-style pizza, then I would consider that a bonus for you. But it would have to be Detroit-style pizza. The crispiness of the crust makes a loud enough crunch to drown out your voice and annoying laugh while still maintaining a magnificent texture of the dough itself. Any other form of pizza won't be able to provide enough of an auditory buffer. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Detroit-style pizza is the way to go. Or steak. If you can get a free steak, that's an appropriate substitution as well. Just so long as the chow is good and the thought is paying, that is all that matters.
Hell yeah.
Watch this video and then I'll be back.
By 2030, 45% of working women ages 25 to 45 will be non-married, no kids, single.
So what's wrong with that?
So you might say, well, what's wrong with that? If you think that you're gonna genuinely be fulfilled in life because you made money, best of luck to you.
Okay, so he had one perspective. I'm going to give you another. And this one's coming from an actual woman who was single and child-free and fulfilled. When I was a little child in the 70s, my grandmother and her two sisters, all very well-educated women, especially for that time period, looked at me and said, never depend on a man. And I was like, I'm 5. But what they were trying to instill in me was that my independence was important.
Nobody cares what you think.
I'll get to your gibberish in just a second, lady, but first, I want to be a certified gent and answer your question. You see, woman, you're a selfish cretin. You're incapable of seeing the massive consequences of this scenario. You see, if you have almost half of working women not having kids, that is more than just a personal fulfillment thing. Even though women literally exist to bring life onto this planet as per biological design, you're ignoring the societal ramifications. You see, society is only able to keep itself going if there are people there to maintain it. We need men to build the structures, protect the streets, grow the food, and, just keep things running in general. But if women are choosing a career over starting a family, and you multiply that by tens, if not hundreds of thousands of women, who's going to run things when you're even crustier than you are now? It's not going to be cyborgs. They're going to be too busy waging war against those still strong enough to resist their systematic elimination of the human race.
They knew that a good education, especially at that time, led to financial freedom, and when you have financial freedom, you make better decisions for your life. I was married for 22 years, we never shared a bank account, and we never had joint credit cards. When I got my amicable divorce, my lawyer said it was one of the easiest that he had ever done. And I wasn't planning on getting divorced, but having financial independence definitely made it easier. And it helped me with the decision that it was time to leave. I never felt trapped. I knew that I had my own money, and I knew that I had 4 college degrees. Whoever comes into my life at this point is here because I want them here, not because I need them here.
Nobody cares, Sean. Nobody cares.
Hey, woman, I hate to break it to you, but times have changed and you're out of touch. Your family prided education because they grew up during a time where being able to read and write was a massive luxury, and having a good education was required in order to break free from poverty. But that's not the case nowadays. You're too busy being full of yourself to realize that the job market is oversaturated with people with useless college degrees in fields like gender studies. And unless you're going into a field that actually requires significant postgraduate studies like law, engineering, or medicine, a college degree doesn't have nearly as much value as you like to tell yourself. Now, if you feel fulfilled in your life with your 4 degrees, the dude you're boning, and your group of friends, then more power to you. But you are an independently wealthy, crusted out old broad, and you don't represent all of women as a whole. So I really don't see the point you're trying to make over the fact that you're barren, overvalued, and full of yourself. Is there a point to anything that you're saying? I'm gonna guess the answer is no.
I have a fantastic and supportive boyfriend, and he's in my life because I want him in my life. He doesn't pay any of my bills, we don't live together, and I have no intentions of getting married. I have a fantastic and supportive family. I have a huge group of female friends. I have a job that I love. I have hobbies I adore. I feel valued, connected, and fulfilled. I don't have a husband, and I don't have children. If you want a husband and you want children, great, please do it. That will be fulfilling for you. I just don't want you to listen to some guy with a podcast saying that you will be a miserable old crone if you don't do these things. Only you know what's right for you, and that's what you have to follow. There are some of us here in our 50s and older who led the way for this, and we're telling you, it's a damn good life.
I hated that so much.
Lady, I need to ask you something. Why do you care? If your life is so great and fulfilling with your empty apartment and your barren womb, then why do you give a damn about what some guy on a podcast says? If you believe that women are their own autonomous beings who are capable of making their own decisions, then why did you bother going on some rant that ultimately proved nothing? What that man said was not aimed at you. It was aimed at women who actually have functioning reproductive organs that haven't gone the way of the dodo. You clearly aren't in that particular demographic. So either you're incredibly defensive about not having kids, or you are so invested in the reproductive habits of women you've never met that you feel the need to go on a self-absorbed rant about how great your life is as a rich old hag in training. If there's anything good to be taken from what you said, it's that you've finally taken credit for the moral decay caused by feminism. So how's that for progress? And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.